most millennial thing about us? When we're abroad, we miss India. The chaos, the food, the festivals, even the noise. When we're in India, we look at Instagram reels from abroad and think, wow, their metro actually works. It's like we're permanently homesick and permanently the grass is greener sick. You know what I mean? Hi, I'm Antara, your resident confused corporate millennial with too many opinions and very few solutions. Welcome back to One in a Millennial.
One in a millennial, here we go, where the laughs come fast and the thoughts just flow. Life's a mess, but we make it shine. Grab a coffee, sit back, it's podcast time.
Today, we're tackling the ultimate chai time debate. Should Indian millennials stay in India or pack their bags, sell their kidneys to fund a visa, and move abroad? Because let's face it, we're the most educated generation in history apparently, but also the poorest. At 30, very few of us can afford the traditional success starter pack, Ghar Gadi Bangla. Instead, what we do have are long working hours, crippling rent, and jobs on the 100th floor of a glass building where our only ownership is the office ID card dangling around our necks. So naturally, the question pops up, would life be better if we just left? Let's start if we considered staying back. The biggest pro, family. Being able to celebrate festivals together, have home-cooked meals, and know that if you fall sick, your mom will appear with haldi doodh faster than that Zomato delivery boy. There's also the emotional factor. We just get the culture, the jokes, the jugaad. You don't have to explain why you're late. Traffic is the universal excuse, and everybody's stuck in it. Everyone nods with sympathy. You don't have to explain why you're rolling your eyes at government paperwork. Signed and stamped is basically our national horror story. You don't need to write essays asking for leave during Diwali or Holi. Your boss is probably in the same sweet shop line as you. And the quirks. No onion, no garlic isn't some weird detox fad. It's just your neighbor doing a puja. Saying I'll be there in 10 minutes automatically translates to 30 minutes. Abroad, they'll take you very seriously and stand freezing in the cold. Poor things. Something goes wrong. In India, 10 people show up uninvited with chai and unsolicited advice. Abroad, you'll get a polite text. Let me know if you need anything. Even power cuts here are a vibe. Nobody panics. We're just used to it. People light candles, sing songs, and make it a full Bollywood montage. Abroad, they're calling emergency services like it's the apocalypse. And sure, none of this is perfect, but we've all learned to live with it. Honestly, some of these we've even grown to love. We're very toxic. Another aspect of staying back in India is the cost of living, which stretches very differently here. Even with rent, Swiggy orders, and EMIs, your rupees go further. Whether it's roadside pani puri, domestic help, or an army of relatives babysitting your kids, whether you want them to or not. That's the thing about India. It's messy, but it's our own kind of messy. The jugaad, the chai, the chaos that somehow feels like comfort food for the soul. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? That same chaos also comes with its fair share of headaches. Infrastructure that collapses at the first sight of rain, paying taxes and wondering, wait, where exactly is this money going? The infamous job market where sometimes what you know matters less and who you know is more important. And of course, salaries that look decent on paper until you realize they are peanuts compared to the same job abroad. Let's be honest. We've all had at least one moment of listening to Swades in the background and feeling that familiar pang of guilt while secretly daydreaming of fleeing the country. But beyond the guilt, there are some really tough questions we keep asking ourselves, and if you have answers, please share them in the comments. Is there a right age, a right time, or the perfect set of circumstances to pack up and leave? When is it better to stay back and actually build something here? Should one leave just to return during retirement, or when you leave, you better leave for good? And finally, beyond the paycheck, what really makes life better abroad? Cleaner air, less traffic, work life balance that doesn't involve chasing chai breaks, a lifestyle that doesn't require your entire salary to survive? Because honestly, for our generation, money matters for sure, but so does mental peace, community, and feeling at home in your own skin. We want it all. But the question is, can we really have it all? Let's consider a situation where we move abroad. Like discussed, the first obvious pro is the currency power. You earn in dollars, pounds, or dirhams, and suddenly your rupee calculations start looking like monopoly money. Your savings, if you actually manage to save after rent and taxes abroad, feel much heavier. And then there's the good infrastructure: smooth roads, functioning public transport, cleaner air, mostly, and the sense that your taxes actually come back to you in some way: healthcare, safety, education, or just working streetlights. There's also the long term carrot: better retirement prospects, social security, maybe even a cozy home that doesn't involve you bargaining with builders who promise possession next year for the next 15 years. But moving abroad is not a free pass to happiness. Nope. The cons are real. First few years, absolute struggle. New country, new rules, new weather, sometimes minus 10 degrees cold. No amount of hoodies from Decathlon and vitamin D pills can prepare you for that sort of extreme weather. Also, not to forget, as you grow older, finding your community takes time. Until then, it's just you, Netflix, and frozen food. Traveling home for weddings or emergencies become uncertain. Between layoffs, scary managers, and sky-high ticket prices, it's not always possible. And let's not forget the news flashes on racism and other issues that you could possibly face, of cultural adjustment and the loneliness of being away from your people. Everyone posts glamorous airport selfies with new beginnings, but they don't post the ones of them crying in an empty apartment because their Indian grocery store only sells overpriced bhujia. So here's the sandwich we millennials are stuck in: stay back, family, comfort, culture. But career growth feels like running on a treadmill at speed 15. Move abroad, higher pay, better systems, but loneliness, culture shock, and the guilt of missing your third cousin's wedding this year. We basically end up in millennial misery Olympics no matter what. Wish this topic was just this black and white with no grays. At least a few years ago it was, but looking at the news now, not anymore. Till now, leaving the country always felt like a backup plan, the golden escape route. But with everything happening in the world right now, wars, layoffs, visa crackdowns, sudden immigration rule changes, even this option is looking a little shaky. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like an option, and that's scary. There's a constant fear. What if the country you move to suddenly decides they don't want us anymore? Imagine building your whole life abroad: career, savings, family plans, and suddenly your visa isn't renewed. That's not just instability, that's emotional whiplash. We're even seeing reverse immigration: Indians returning, sometimes because they want to, sometimes because layoffs and policy changes leave them with no other choice. And those of us here in India watching this, shocked, because this was supposed to be the dream, if not at least a possible escape if everything here goes bad. And that's the curveball for our generation. What used to be a straight choice between India or abroad is now wrapped in uncertainty, fine print, and a whole lot of what ifs. Which is why, before making the leap, the real question isn't just where you want to live, it's how you want to live. From our conversations with people who've made the switch successfully, one question always comes up: what kind of life do you actually want to build? Do you crave stability, family, and the comfort of culture you don't need to explain? Or do you lean towards adventure, bigger paychecks, and smoother infrastructure, even if it means years of adjustment and starting from scratch? Neither path is right or wrong. Both come with FOMO. Both come with trade-offs. In the end, it's less about where you live and more about whether the life you're building feels like yours. Hats off to everyone who's already taken the plunge, whether that's moving abroad or staying back. To those who've made it abroad, you're not just surviving, you're thriving in a whole new system, learning, adapting, and often inspiring others by sharing your journey. You remind us that courage and resilience can actually build a home anywhere in the world. And to those who've stayed back, you're equally inspiring. By choosing to build your life here in India, you're strengthening India from within, shaping its workplaces and fueling the hope of a better, brighter country in the making. So whether you're sipping filter coffee in Bengaluru or flat whites in London, one thing's for sure, being a millennial means feeling broke and overwhelmed everywhere. But maybe the win is this. Wherever you are, if you found even a little peace between work, bills and bad Wi-Fi, you're doing just fine. If you're in India, check on your friends abroad. They're probably still converting dollars to rupees before buying bhindi, so stop them from doing that. And if you're abroad, call your friends in India. Don't mind the time difference because they are probably stuck in traffic somewhere on some flyover which is still being built. Remember, wherever we are, the millennial glow up only works if we keep checking in on each other. Keep checking in on each other, keep being there for each other, and keep rooting for each other. Until next time, remember, home is less about the pin code and more about where you feel less miserable about Monday mornings. Now remember that. No matter where you stay, you're still gloriously, hilariously, and very successfully being one in a millennial. Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you next time.